Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez, for allowing me the opportunity to be here and speak to you guys. Thank you all for listening for a few minutes as we talk about some of the choices that you'll be making for life after high school. Um, you guys are super lucky. I'm still in awe. I look at this library and I go, wow, I wish I had one like this when I was in high school. You guys see those shows called American Pickers, or those reality shows where they go find nuggets of gold or something valuable hidden away in barns and stuff like that? Well, every one of these books, if you've got an interest, there's gold in these books. There's things that are of great value to you if you go and just check out the things that you like in your life, things that draw your attention. Go find the gold nuggets in these books. But I guess when I was in high school, I was always reading on airplanes and cars and anything that I could get my hands on, especially the magazines that were fresh, Popular Science, Popular Mechanics. I mean, I'd be in there waiting for the next issue because that's a whole world of knowledge that you probably won't get exposure to unless you find it in a book, find it in a magazine, and make the best of it. But anyway, I can talk on and on about all that interesting stuff that's here, and our thanks to your librarians for having a good inventory. Ms. Gonzalez asked me to come in and talk about some of the things that I went through in high school. She said we had a lot in common. And I said, wow, when I was in high school, do we have a lot in common with you guys here? Let me think. I was the runt of the class. I was about this tall. My nickname was Keebler. I was so short. And I was probably the youngest in my class because my mom insisted on pushing me through school because she needed to get the 5 kids out of the house as fast as possible. So she forced me into the schools. So you're always behind in your capacity and of course in your physique. So I don't think too many of you guys here are named Keebler. I don't think you go by that nickname, right? Let's see, what might we have in common? How many of you here are vocational students? Raise your hand. You're right? No vocational students? Welders, carpenters? Okay, we got one. All right, we have a little bit in common. How many of you guys grew up on Zacate Creek? Raise your hand. Zacate Creek, you know, the one that divides downtown from Laredo? Poor houses, no? Rough neighborhood? No. Nobody from Zacate Creek. Man, I'm sorry, Ms. Gonzalez, I don't think we have a lot in common here. When I was in high school, when I graduated, I had never touched a computer and didn't know how to type. Raise your hands if you've never touched a computer and didn't know how to type. You guys, wow, we have nothing in common. This is going to be a tough speech. Okay. When I left high school, I didn't have any money for college. I just didn't have the money that it would take to go through 4 years of college. So how many of you do not have money to go to college right now? A couple thousands of dollars in your family bank account, in your own pocket, thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wait, that we
don't have the money to go to college. I think that's where we probably have the most in common. I did not have a penny to go to college, and most people don't have the money that it takes. But the way that I did find the resources was applying for financial aid, applying for college loans, getting help from family members when I needed it, when I was really desperate, and of course also a lot of hard work and checking in on a regular basis with your counselors. Those people know, both at the high school level, college level, tech school, military. You talk to people that can guide you through step by step. You're gonna find a way to make it. Look, if a kid who was from a very poor household, who never touched a computer, and went on to go into engineering programs, work for major corporations, making $200 to $400 a day, can do it, you guys can do it, okay? It is possible. I mean, who wouldn't like to have those high-paying jobs? If life ends at high school, if your educational endeavor ends at high school, you're going to get a nice job, you're going to make a living. But if you push forward beyond high school, tech school, military, trade school, college, professional schools, you can force your life into one of a very high quality, very comfortable way to make a living. And I said that it's going to take a lot of hard work. Of course, college changed my life personally from a state of hard work and poverty to a state of hard work and prosperity. And the common denominator is still the hard work. And that hard work, you could at least call it an investment and improve the quality of your. You see your family, look, you see your family working real hard every day. Family members going to work, punching the clock, you know, working oil field schools and whatnot. But the difference is they want you to do better than they did. You know, it's every parent's dream to have their kid work a little easier, still work hard, but work easier for their money than what they are doing. You want to be able to do that, not just your parents for you, but you for your own kids. Every generation wants the next generation to be better. And that's one of my key points here is that if you work hard, you make the investment after high school, it will pay off. Just consider it a short investment that's worth the effort. Me personally, I didn't have the horsepower, the intellectual horsepower that it takes to compete with a lot of the kids around me, whether in high school or in college. I really wasn't that smart. And what I did was I worked a little harder than they did. I worked to get very organized. If you get organized and you put your notes together from your classes, you get your files in order for your next exam, you keep a tight schedule of what's important, what are your deadlines. Those tools can help you overcome the fact that I mean, in my case, I wasn't very smart. So you have those tools available and you learn to use them and you can beat the crowd and you can make a success of yourself no matter where you come from or how limited your own personal skills are. In the end, when you work hard that way and you get the good grades, because that organization and that hard work produces the higher grades, well, that's what the employers are looking for. They want the good grades. They're always going to recruit whoever's doing best. They want the grades and they want a good name. Where did you go to get your certificate in drafting or mechanical drawing or CAD? Where did you go to learn your trade? Where did you go to college? They like that big name and they like the good grades. And by doing that, you will nail the best paying jobs and you will find a higher quality of life for yourself. For me, what happened was those good grades as a graduate from Texas A&M allowed me to get some really nice assignments, some very good employers. I got to work on stealth aircraft, for instance, was my first job fresh out of college. Classified aircraft programs like the F-22 Raptor, the A-12 Avenger. It was honestly, it was pretty sexy work. I mean, you come into work one day, you go into these classified facilities, boom, 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 locks and barbed wire, the works, just like Hollywood. And you walk into these closed hangars, and you walk in the door, and they give you a file that says top secret classified. Today's assignment. And you pop it open, and you're always accompanied by someone else, because when it's classified work, you don't work alone. That's one of the ways they protect themselves. And then that folder you would open, and it would show you a big section of an aircraft. You go, wow. They said, manufacturing engineer, sit down. Go through this folder, look at the blueprint. We want you to build one of these parts, whether it's a wing section on an airplane, a new canopy, a new radar dome for the front of the aircraft, a strut, a wheel, anything. It says build one, a prototype. And then when you're done, and we like your prototype and it fits our criteria, we want you to put together all the tools that are necessary to build that part, whether it's a skin on an airplane, for instance. We want you to build that skin, one prototype, build all the tools to build that skin, then figure out how you're going to build 30 a month. So set up a production line, tell us how many people you need, tell us how many square foot of office space and production space. What are your materials to build that part? And oh, by the way, we need it to be really high in quality. We need it to meet all of these criteria for the Air Force. And they're walking out the door, oh, and we need it yesterday. It's always yesterday, So you've got this skin off an airplane, you're going, wow, how am I going to build that? And it's never been done before, by the way. And this is all, radar evading type technology. So no one's ever done it. They're just theories. And you've got to build the first one. So those were really amazing assignments. That hard work and education at a college in A&M allowed me to come home after I left the aerospace business. And I got to be closer to my family, to our ranches, to our friends. And it allowed me the luxury of working for companies like Ford Motor Company and General Motors in the maquiladora programs. I had my foot in the door. I was already working on, typical production line stuff. Instead of airplane parts, now you're looking at car parts. It could be the front fender off a car. It could be a new seat. It could be a new wiring harness for a vehicle. And, you do that day to day, but it also gave me the door in to one of my passions. My dad and I restored vehicles all the time, and we were always coming up with those funky designs on cars. You come up with things that you want to do, be creative with. So one Christmas, I'm kind of doodling, and I come up with an idea for a Suburban that's chopped off in the back. And I said, wow, this would be cool. I've seen a couple of hunters chop them up, and they're working very nice. It's just a short truck. And I go, maybe I could do this. So I put together a complete manufacturing plan to be built in Arlington, Texas. And I submitted to General Motors truck division, the top of the top chain, the top dogs in the truck engineering group. They loved it. Had nothing to do with my regular job, but it was my passion. I like working on cars. So they adopted the vehicle. You've seen it all over Laredo. It's a Chevy Avalanche truck or a Cadillac Escalade EXT truck. And that idea came from Laredo. I mean, it was my concept, and I was supposed to get a free one. I didn't get my free one, but I'm still a little upset about that. But anyway, in any case, those long days of work and submitting ideas that are part of your passion and make all that hard work very worthwhile. Let me ask you guys, how many of you here are bilingual? How many of you are able to communicate to some degree in Spanish? Don't be shy. Come on, throw your hands up there. Okay, right there. You think it's nothing. You think it's just an ordinary skill or an ordinary thing that you grew up with and it means little or nothing. Well, the fact of the matter is, beyond San Antonio, north of San Antonio, you've got a high-dollar skill. People in the Northeast do not speak Spanish. As a general population, they're usually only master one language, English, of course. But when you've got two languages in your pocket, you're already ahead of the game. You have a skill that people want and need and are willing to pay extra for it. But we don't really value that, because we grew up with it and it's common. If you take, one of my key points, and if you take nothing else from this presentation, take this. Use what you already know. Use what your family does or already knows that you've been exposed to and build on it. If your dad is a construction worker and you've already helped him in some projects, take that and go into the construction sciences or construction supervision. If your family is in the school system, they've got contacts. Get those summer jobs. Go find a place where you can work part-time at a high school or an elementary school, tutoring, helping kids. Build on what they already know and what's already in your toolbox. Always doing a little bit with what your family gave you, what God gave you, and make yourself better. Work up from there. One of the other things that I found out the hard way was, no matter what you do and how you plan and how hard you work, there's going to be mistakes. The mistakes happen. It's just Murphy's Law. It happens at the worst possible time. My mistake, I signed up fresh out of high school for the University of Texas in Austin. I said, wow, that was really cool. And really, it was an accident. My counselor just kind of signed me up, and I ended up going because I really had never even thought of college before my counselor just threw my application in. So I go to Austin, and because I was in vocational school, I was in welding, I was in drafting classes and things of that nature. I did really awesome at my engineering program schools, building stuff, machine shops, and things like that. Introduction to engineering, wow, it was acing those classes. The rest of them, flat Fs, flunked the heck out of everything. Half of my classes I flunked, half of my classes I aced. Complete mistake on my part, not having been prepared to go to college, not knowing what it was like to study every day and consider it my daily job from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. You take your lunch breaks, your dinner breaks, and it becomes your job to be the best in your class. Well, I didn't know that freshman year. I majorly blew it out of, I mean, it was wow, it was a huge mistake. But that mistake forced me back to Laredo. I came back to the junior college, got my basics, and lo and behold, I meet a young lady who's now my wife, Dr. Sonia Rodriguez. She aspired to be a dentist at the time, and she ended up doing it. And that was cool because those mistakes lead you and open other, those doors close behind you, but other doors open. Well, that's what happened to me because I found this really amazing person. And that's one of the key points that I want to make today is find someone in your life, a partner who's going to make you better, who's going to push you to be a better person. Not someone who's going to drag you down, not someone who's going to take from you and suck the life out of you, okay? Find someone that's going to push you harder and make you succeed. She told me, we dated for 7 years. I said she wouldn't marry me, she wouldn't marry me. I said, wow, why 7 years? Got to graduate from college. Got to get my degree first, then we'll get married. Well, she had the presence of mind to say and do that. I didn't, but she made me a better person. That was a good decision. In retrospect, it was great because we both grew up dirt poor on Zacate Creek, and yet she forced me into that degree before we got married. Another thing she said, I'm not going to marry you if you don't have a 4.0 at Texas A&M. A 4.0. I said, really? A 4.0? She says, look, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a dentist. And if you're going to be just a mere mortal engineer, you better be a damn good one. He says, you better be the best, able to provide for your family. And Cindy, the counselor here, Ms. Garza, is my wife's cousin. She'll attest to this. It's a true fact. I got that 4.0. I mean, I pushed myself to perfection in college to marry the girl that I really fell in love with. And it, again, find someone in your life that'll make a better person out of you. The other point I want to make is I met my wife in college, but you're also going to meet some incredible people. You're going to make lifelong friends. I know you've got friends here in high school, but there's something about the people that you're going to make friends with, your classmates in college or in tech school or in the military. They become your friends for life. You ever heard that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know? Well, these people that you get to be classmates with and build relationships with and carpool to college with, because everyone's trying to share a ride, they become very successful people in the community. Carlos Ornedo became a doctor, one of my classmates. Tony Arce, who was my lifelong friend, is a manager or director for American Electric Power, or CP&L. I've got friends that are entrepreneurs, Larry Puig in the construction world. My roommate, Danny Benavides, graduated in wildlife biology. He went on straight out of college into the Marine Corps. To do what? Marine Corps flight instructor. So it's not what degree you get, it's how you have proven to the employers that you've learned how to learn and that you can master whatever they throw at you. Game warden, Marine Corps flight instructor. Now he flies for FedEx, usually out of Laredo, sometimes out of South Texas. He's a FedEx pilot. Man, that goofy guy in my bedroom, and the roommate that was, weight training every night and kind of, your typical Marine Corps jarhead, He blew me away, the fact that he became very successful in his own career, in his own endeavor, and again, providing good money for his family. You also see and meet people that will just blow you away. I was in this electronics class, and it was probably a class about this size, but it was a small auditorium style. In the front, they always did the electronics gadgetry, and digital type analysis on circuitry and things. Well, to my left is Miss Texas. The reigning Miss Texas was on my left, sitting right there next to you guys. And to my right was Reveille, our school mascot, the dog, the collie dog. That dog goes around campus and is followed by a cadet throughout the entire university for the entire year. And she goes with that cadet who takes care of the dog, and she'll sit with you in class. Now, if she barks, everybody tries to make her, because if she barks, you get released out of class. That's a tradition at A&M, and that's a hard one because she won't bark. We tried everything. So I was thrilled because I'd be sitting there and I just couldn't take my eyes off of her. I'm not Miss Texas Reveille, obviously, because she was the coolest one in the room. But still, the most amazing part, that's pretty good company on left and my right. But directly in front of me at the front of the class is a Nobel Peace Prize winning scientist, the guy who invented the integrated circuit, Dr. Kilby. He was a visiting professor. I mean, to be in the same room with the guy who invented the black chips that go in your computer boards that make the core of a computer or the core of any electronic device, teaching and talking to you in a room this size is just mind-boggling. We also had a visit from the guy who invented the transistor, but that was, before then. And those are the kind of experiences that you'll never live down. I mean, you'll think about that and you go, man, I was in the presence of some real royalty. But those experiences come from a place where you can get a better higher education beyond high school, something to improve yourself with. My next point is about Texas colleges and tech schools. They're really good. And more importantly, they bring out the best in you. If you go to these places, they will pull out whatever is of great value to society. They'll pull it out from you. It brings out the best in you. I had a friend in General Motors. His name was Lee Humphreys. He came to Texas. We worked together in the maquiladoras. And he was always bad-mouthing Texas schools. The University of Texas, A&M, SMU, even your high schools, they're terrible. Up in the Northeast, Ohio, New York, Michigan, we got great schools. My kids are going to get a great education up there. I said, wow. I says, you're really not giving us a whole lot of credit here. You haven't been exposed. You have no idea. Well, soon he became a believer after working with us every day and finding out the engineers that worked with him and the administrators and the management team that worked with us, they were educated in Texas. They came out of Texas Laredo high schools, a lot of local people. And he started understanding and believing. Well, he became such a believer that he sent both his kids to Texas A&M, and both of their kids became national NCAA champions, javelin throwers. Both of these kids are phenomenal at sports. You've probably seen them in the newspapers. Sammy Humphreys, he's, parece puerta. He's this big. He barely fits through a doorway. He's tall, he's wide, and he throws like a Viking. I mean, this guy's amazing. They carry around their NCAA championship rings. If I put on one of their rings, I could probably put it on my wrist and it looked like a bracelet on me. These things are monster rings. Sammy's got 3. He's going to work on his 4th. Studded with diamonds and rubies and you name it. Both of them have been up to see President Obama. Both of them had opportunity photo ops with him, shook his hand, talked to him, and they were treated like royalty in the White House. So these kids out of Laredo have done great things in their endeavor to do well and to work hard in their university. But really, whether you go to a tech school, a trade school, any kind of a program that's going to teach you the skills you need to go to work, you have to put your all into it. There's a lot of places to work in Laredo. You may not realize it, but our school system is our biggest employer. There's a lot of jobs always available in the school system. If you go into the oil field, we have a worldwide phenomena happening right now in our community. The Eagle Ford Shale project is producing enough jobs out here to employ Laredo for an eternity. If you've got an interest, for instance, in diesel mechanics, you go, oh, diesel mechanics, that's at LCC? Yeah, I don't want to go work in the trucking business to fix trucks. No. You get a diesel mechanics degree in Laredo at a junior college, you're going to go work on diesel equipment on the drilling rigs or diesel equipment on the supply services to those drilling rigs, and you're going to earn top dollar. You're not going to be worrying about working in a tractor trailer. You're going to be worrying about working on generators and pumps and hydraulic equipment. And once you're in that job, you're going to find these people don't necessarily want you to work on a diesel engine because you're a mechanic. They want you to go work on the turntable that's turning the drilling bit because they need someone who's mechanically capable of doing that. It doesn't matter what you get your degree in or your certificate in, it's where you're working and what opportunities present themselves. Law enforcement, I mean, it's huge here. And we've got Border Patrol, U.S. Customs, all kinds of DPS special agents working in the area, and private agents like the guys that work at ranches taking care of cattle inspectors. There's law enforcement degrees. Anywhere you can go to a junior college in Laredo and get those specialties and get yourself into those fields. And I can go on and on. I mean, import, export, there's so many places to work. And if you go straight out of high school, you're going to do okay because you've already got your diploma. But if you go to get a secondary education beyond high school, an institution of higher learning of any kind, including the military, you're going to do much better for yourself and for your family, but the key being hard work. So go to those places, go to those programs, and find your inspiration. You need to find your inspiration so that you can keep fighting, so that you can succeed, so that you can do more, and so you can ultimately do great things in your life. And of course, to do those great things in life, that's what God wants from us, and that's what I know that you can do to just not for yourself, but to help your fellow man. So thank you again and for listening, and I wish you Godspeed on your journey beyond high school. Thank you.